China has now blamed NATO and the US for pushing Russia to breaking point as it continues to seesaw over Vladimir Putin's barbaric invasion of Ukraine. Between the warring countries, as it strategically tries to avoid picking a side due to diplomatic ties. But China's latest comments indicate a support for its Russian ally, supporting Putin's claim the war was caused by NATO and backing his legitimate security concerns. At a daily news briefing, Foreign Ministry spokesman Zhao Lijan said today that China's position on the war is consistent and clear-cut. But when asked whether China was ready to label the war as a Russian invasion, he replied, "I don't think the question is of any point." He also added that the US needs to take China's concerns about sanctions seriously, warning they will never bring peace and security. He said the West should avoid undermining China's rights or interests by imposing severe financial penalties on Russia. It echoes comments made by Xi Jinping yesterday, who voiced concerns about sanctions and their impact on China. He said, regarding the impact of sanctions on global finance, energy resources, transport and supply chain stability, in terms of a world economy already burdened by the pandemic, it is harmful to all sides. China generally opposes sanctions and frequently dodges restrictions to trade with North Korea, Iran, and Venezuela, U.S. investigators say. China shares nearly $150 billion in trade with Russia, and anti-Kremlin sanctions could be damaging for its own economy. Russian banks said they plan to issue cards using China's UnionPay system after Visa and MasterCard moved to suspend operations. Zhao added today that wielding the stick of sanctions at every turn will never bring peace and security but cause serious difficulties to the economies and livelihoods of the countries concerned. He said China and Russia will continue to carry out normal trade cooperation, including oil and gas trade, in the spirit of mutual respect, equality and mutual benefit. But he also pledged humanitarian aid to Ukraine, including food and necessities worth 5 million yuan, £600,000, as China walks its diplomatic tightrope. China had been seen as a bellwether on whether Russia's invasion would spark similar territorial conflicts elsewhere, with Xi wanting to stake his claim on Taiwan. The superpower abstained in UN votes to condemn Russia's actions and has refused to label it an invasion. China's friendship with Russia was strengthened last month when Putin attended the opening ceremony of the Beijing Winter Olympics on the same day that the countries declared a no-limits strategic partnership. About 30% of oil and gas produced in Russia now sold to China. Advertisement. On Monday, Foreign Minister Wang Yi said Beijing was open to helping mediate peace and stressed that the friendship between Beijing and Moscow was still intact. He said, "The friendship between the two peoples is rock solid, and both sides' future cooperation prospects are very vast." but he said China was willing to work with the international community to carry out necessary mediation, when necessary. Wang also spoke with the European Union's foreign policy chief Josep Borrell Monday, Chinese state media said. Wang said China laments the situation in Ukraine and urged the EU to engage in sincere dialogue with Russia over European security. Borrell had said last week that China should mediate future peace talks between Russia and Ukraine as Western powers cannot fulfill the role, in an interview with Spanish daily El Mundo. The Chinese foreign minister described the China-Russia relationship as the world's most crucial bilateral relationship, which is conducive to world peace, stability and development. He referred to last month's China-Russia partnership commitment as clearly and unmistakably showing the world that both countries jointly oppose the revival of the Cold War mentality and stoking ideological confrontations. This month, Russian gas giant Gazprom said it had signed a contract to design a pipeline to China, taking a step towards a new supply agreement that could ease Russia's reliance on European buyers. Once bitter Cold War rivals, China and Russia have moved closer than ever since President Xi Jinping took power nearly a decade ago, driven by their shared desire to confront U.S. power. Wang said their informal alliance would not brook interference by third parties, in a warning to the United States and its Western allies who in recent days have lobbied China to play a more active role in mediating the conflict. Australia's Prime Minister has called Russia's invasion of Ukraine a moment of choice for China, pressing China to shape the actions of its Russian ally and prove that Beijing is committed to global peace. No country would have a greater impact right now on Russia's violent aggression towards Ukraine than China, Scott Morrison told think tank the Lowy Institute. Wang said the Taiwan issue is fundamentally different from the Ukraine issue and added that Taiwan will eventually return to the motherland's embrace. Taiwan is an inalienable part of China's territory and the Taiwan issue is entirely China's internal affair, Wang Yi said. The Ukraine issue is a dispute between the two countries of Ukraine and Russia.